Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I'm an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. Make sure to check in the description notes below the video where you will find links to all of my online shenanigans, including how to get my patterns to knit up for yourself, how to join the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, how to support me on Patreon, and how to get my merchandise. Today we have for you Swatch Lab. Swatch Lab is the video I do the month following the month that I open up the mystery package from Eat.Sleep.Knit. Eat.Sleep.Knit sends me this box to open up. It usually has 4 yarns in it, and then I put it up on a Google voting sort of thing, and y'all tell me which of those yarns you would like me to swatch and put through its paces. So the yarn options that we had this go round, this quarter, were the Sweet Georgia Flax and Silk DK, which I already did a video on, and I will link to below, putting it in the box. The Malabrigo Sussurro in fuchsia, gorgeous. Did not win, as you can see. It is still in its skein, going to the winner. And then Yarn Love Princess Buttercup fingering in the mermaid colorway. Look at that. Look how gorgeous that is. Still in its skein. Was not the one you selected, so it's going in the box for the winner. Why am I saying the winner? I also give away the box every quarter, and the winner was Charlene. Congratulations, Charlene. She has already been contacted and has sent me her information, and I will get this shipped out once this video is completely filmed and everything, because the Shibui Twig, there it is. Woo, where is it? The Shibui Twig is what y'all selected. I wound up a ball of it to knit from, and I will be sending the ball, which is going into the box, boop, and the swatch. I did it real fast. Those will be going to Charlene. If your name is Charlene and I have not contacted you, I'm sorry, it wasn't you. But watch out for the next quarter's box where you will have a chance. So that's going to be, so the first one was January, February, March. This one was April, May, June, July. July will be the next one, so watch out for it. Now, Pointer Duck is here for us. Let's get to the Swatch Lab. We have Shibui Knits Twig. The fiber content is 46% linen, 42% recycled silk, 12% wool. The color I have, which came from the Eat.Sleep.Knit box, that had a whole bunch of beautiful pink in it, is Lotus, and this says that its weight is Sport. Our yardage is 190 yards or 174 meters in 50 grams. So this is a smaller skein. And right here we've got where the suggested gauge is 22 stitches equals 4 inches on a US size 4, 3.5 millimeter. So this is the tag. It is twig. So the linen is a plant fiber. It's a bast fiber. It's going to bring a lot of strength. It gives really interesting texture. It's not very insulative, so it's going to make it lightweight. The recycled silk. So silk is an animal product, but it is not a hair. It is not a wool. It is not like alpaca. It's the cocoon from a silk moth. So it's kind of occupies an odd in-between place between what is, a plant fiber and a mammal fiber. So it is very strong. Both the linen and the silk don't really have any stretch to them. They don't really have any memory, so they should block really well. The wool is what's interesting here. This wool should hopefully bring a little memory and a little stretchiness to the party, and a tiny bit of insulation, but not really. This is definitely a good warm weather yarn, a warm weather fiber combination. Because it was only a 50-gram ball, I decided to hand wind into this ball-like object that you see before you to give myself a little more time with the yarn. It definitely is not what anyone would consider to be soft, but a lot of times when you're talking about yarn, when you ask if something's soft, the opposite of soft is scratchy. This is not scratchy. It is just not soft at this point. It is rough a little bit. It's definitely rustic. That's probably the recycled silk combined with the linen. It doesn't have any, if I stretch it, you know how I always do this stretch test, it's not going anywhere. There's not a lot of loft in here. Let's try to look at our yarn structure. So I'm rotating it so the spin of the plies is in this direction. It is going counterclockwise, and I'm going to take the yarn and I'm going to rotate my left hand away from me and my right hand towards me, so that it kind of unspins it. And you can see, look, that one came off easy. So each of these plies is probably a different fiber. And you can see that one of them comes away easily, but the other ones are pretty much staying where they're supposed to be. So let's try to tease it out on the end. Let's see here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to determine how many plies this thing has, because you can see there's a bunch of teeny tiny. Look at that, they're little bitty. So like this middle one has 3 plies, and then this one over here has 2 or 3. So we've got a lot of plies, bunches and bunches of tiny plies, which it's putting this all together into a nice, tight, strong yarn that doesn't really have a lot of air in it, but a lot of that is going to be because of the fact that we've got the plant fiber and the silk in here. It has a really nice shine and it has a really nice texture. It's kind of got a nubbliness to it. Now we're going to do something that I don't typically do in these swatch labs, and that is I'm going to let you see the unblocked swatch, because I have the feeling, I don't know yet because I obviously haven't blocked it, I have the feeling that the difference between the blocked and the unblocked swatch here is going to be very significant. I mean, size-wise, but also in its physical appearance. I swatched with the size, whoops, it's attached. I swatched with the size 4 needles because that's what it called for. You could definitely go bigger if you wanted a looser fabric, but you could definitely go smaller. It almost, I know it says sport weight, but it almost has a fingering weight feel to it, but I'm guessing blocking is going to change that. So let me see if I can find, here, my duck measuring tape. This thing is so old. Let's see what we have here. So right now we're looking at something in the range. So up there it's like 5. In this center part where my cables are, it brings it into 4. Here we're looking sort of 4.5. My tape's upside down, sorry y'all. And then our height, we're looking at about 5.5 at the long bits and 5. And that is actually something to really see before I block it. Another fun reason to look at this. When you are working on something that has multiple like textures on it and multiple techniques. Look how this comes in. This is the cable. Cables compact your work horizontally. All of the crossing and pulling in, you can definitely see. So this is the little bit, this is the lace that I did, but you can really see how it just swoops in. And that is something to always think about, because when you're doing gauge swatches, if you have sections of this, of just a texture or a stockinette or something, it's going to have a very different gauge than anything with cables on it. And then lace, you can see here it flares back out, and this is actually wider than here because this is pure lace. Lace expands, cables contract. So that's something to keep in mind when you're swatching, or if you ever decide to design what is going on. You can use the contraction of cables to do some interesting shaping things without doing any actual shaping. So that's fine. So this is what it looks like unblocked. I really want you to see. Has amazing stitch definition. You can see every single stitch. You can also see straight through it. You can, each stitch, even on the 4, is very, very open. You do have a really distinct texture here, but you have all these holes and you can see every individual stitch. That is what, here's what the cables look like. Again, great stitch definition. We're not getting a lot of height because of the nature of this particular yarn. Here's a stockinette on a bias. Very holy. Fair, even in the non-lace part, very holy. So there is the unblocked swatch for us to take a look at, and then I have to block this. It has to dry, and I will be back. Et voila, she is blocked. And Pointer Duck has joined the party. Here is the blocked swatch. I'm just going to let it sit here. I might try to split screen it so we can see it side by side. And so I'm going to be quiet for a moment just so we can see it. In just a moment. So, as I said, huge difference between the blocked and unblocked swatch. And some of the differences are hard to verbalize because it's softer visually, and I don't want to imply that it's substantially softer physically, because it definitely is softer than it was when it first was done. And when you knit with it, it's almost like knitting with twine. So it is definitely softer than that, but it is not like super soft. It's not like alpaca soft, but it definitely is soft, and the more you wash it, the softer it will get. But let's look through what we have. Down here, we have our basic lace with, and this is just regular lace that has a rest row in it, and with our fabric on the bias here so we can see how it behaves, and spectacular. Absolutely amazing. Can knit lace with this all day, every day. And so this is on the recommended 4. And as we anticipated, when we did the stretch test, we didn't expect, here, let me get it here. We didn't expect, it didn't squish down much, so we didn't expect it to bloom a lot. And it did not bloom a lot. But it did soften visually. And so the holes aren't as really obvious as they were in the unblocked swatch, but you still definitely can see all the stitches. We still have excellent stitch definition. It's just closed up a little bit to give more of a solid fabric feel, but still, I think if you wanted a truly solid fabric, you could definitely go down at least 1 needle size. but it is going to tighten it. So there's a push and pull there that you have to really be aware of. This is what the stockinette looks like for me on a 4. As you can see, you can't really, can you see my hand through it? I mean, if you were wearing it without anything under it, you're going to get a little bit of show through here. Let's go to the really, really white part of me, and we'll see how much it shows through. So it really shows through here. But, you know, it's not, I don't think that, I mean, you might want to wear a camisole under it, but I think you could get away without a camisole at this gauge. The lace here held beautifully. It looks great on a bias. It's got a nice even ply, so your stitches are nice and stitch shaped. The stockinette, as we just saw, looks great. Now here is the texture. Again, with the super, super stitch definition we have going on here, this kind of texture, because there's texture in the yarn itself, this kind of texture, what you're getting is the different directions of the knit versus purl is going to have the light reflecting off the stitches differently. So it can bring some interest. And as you see when I angle it, you definitely get that texture. So it's definitely worth doing texture in this. This is the reverse stockinette. Now you can see the reverse stockinette definitely is mostly see-through. I wonder if that's the case. It's not the case on the reverse of here, but actually working reverse stockinette, because it's mostly, you got a lot of pearls going on there. I think it's more visible. And here's what our cables look like. We've got our 1/1 cables going right and going left. And then here's what the 1/1 cables look like when they're stacked on top of each other. Boop, 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 boop. And then not stacked. So it's got an interesting texture. They're not super cabley, but that's been our experience with 1/1s. The 2/2 is looking good, but this isn't a super round bouncy yarn, so you're not getting a lot of height off these. It's definitely, you can definitely do cables in here, but you're not going to get big poppy cables. But I think they're really nice details that you could put into a pattern. And then look at this. Look at this knitted lace. This is like real yarn overs and decreases on both the right and the wrong side on every row. And it is holding it absolutely gorgeous. This is definitely, ooh, got a fuzz there. This is definitely something that is worth doing. I anticipated this. I think I even mentioned it. You've got linen and silk. Both are going to hold this beautifully. The drape is really, really nice. I mean, it just kind of floops over. But I think we have a little bit of softness, and a little bit of the bloom is coming from the wool content. So that is what the Shibui Knits Twig looks like. This is how it performed. A+ on lace. It will make beautiful lightweight garments. You got great texture, and you could definitely do some cable detailing, but I don't know that I'd do a like super heavily cabled piece. I don't know that it's going to be worth, you know, the bang for the buck on that. And you can see I allowed in the blocking, I allowed this side to still curve in. I wanted to give these the best chance. I think at a lower needle size, at a tighter gauge, these might pop better. The reverse stockinette will be tighter, and I think the cables might work at a tighter gauge. So in all, absolutely gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed watching me put that yarn through its paces and maybe learned a little something about that yarn. If it is exciting to you, if you have an idea of what you might want to knit with it, make sure to go in the description notes below the video and click on the link to Eat.Sleep.Knit, where you can get either this color, this gorgeous, gorgeous pink, or so pretty, or another color that tickles your fancy. There are a lot of gorgeous ones from Shibui. And make sure you use my link
so that they know that I sent you, and they'll continue sending me the mystery box, that we can continue this cycle. Also, if you do place an order with Eat.Sleep.Knit, they have given me a coupon code for y'all where you can get a free pattern with an order. They send it to you. That code is WATCHBARBKNIT. I'm going to put it right here. And if you put that in the coupon code, free pattern. So thank you all so very much. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, click that like button. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.